City Commission meeting to order. First item on the agenda would be the August 10th minutes. See any changes? Okay, stand as written. Next item on the agenda would be the July 2017 financial statement. Mr. Rupp.
Thank you. This is the financial summaries of the revenue and expenditure activities for the City of Hayes, month ended July 31, 2017. Revenues in July totaled $2,596,911. That's a decrease of $21,000 compared to the period last year. Notable areas of increased revenue: water consumption for business and residential fell a combined negative 6.23% for July as compared to the same period last year. Month to date, water revenue was up $16,500 or 6.15%. And conservation was down $8,900 or a negative 13%. That drop in conservation revenue, however, is expected given the decrease in consumption we were experiencing. Year to date, total consumption is off 3.2%, while total revenue continues up 6.85%. Notable areas of revenue decrease: court fines and public safety revenues fell $11,620 for the month. However, year to date, court fines are up $9,400. Expenditures in July totaled $1,642,980. That's a decrease of $626,795. Notable areas of increased expenditure when we compare back to July of 16. Airport contingency was up $16,500 due to the purchase of the airport paint sprayer approved by Commission in May. Special highway expenditures increased $212,000 due to the continued efforts on the 2017 street maintenance projects. In public safety, new equipment rose $11,500 for the purchase of replacement mobile radios in the fire department. Notable areas of decreased expenditure: the largest contributor to the decrease in expenditures mentioned above is the distribution of allocated funds to the library and library employee benefit. We held off paying those out this month as there will be a miscellaneous distribution of ad valorem taxes coming from the county treasurer in a month or so. Then we will completely fulfill the allocation to the library at that time. You may have noticed a credit in the expenditures for fleet maintenance. We had 22 city vehicles sustain hail damage in the storm on June 15th. Insurance paid out $68,427 in claims for those, and we have receipted those in the expenditures line in anticipation of paying that out for the repair. Month-to-date general fund sales tax collections were at $621,410, which is a decrease of $7,443 or a negative 1.18 as compared to last year. Year-to-date, general fund collections are at $4,125,621. That's down $20,813 or a negative 0.5% when compared to actuals from a year ago. The report of quarter-to-date sales tax collections by industry classification was up $37,000 or 1.99%. Those top 10 represent 75% of the total quarter-to-date sales tax distribution. Finally, the Finance City Clerk's Office invested $3 million of maturing or renewing certificates of deposit with a weighted average interest rate of 1.2%. The portfolio certificates of deposit on July 31, 2017 totaled $60,100,000 with a weighted average interest rate of 0.97, up 0.41 from a year ago. The total balance of the money market account on July 31 was $1 million with a current yield of 0.2. Total investments are up $4.1 million when compared to this time last year.
I move that we accept the financial report as given.
Second.
Got a motion and a second on the floor. Any comments? Okay. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
This is 5-0. Next item on the agenda would be citizen comments.
Okay. Guess that's me.
Good evening. I would like to share with you this evening a wonderful opportunity that is coming.
You mentioned your name.
I'm going to. I want to share a wonderful opportunity that is going to be coming to our community. And first, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Susan Wolf.
Thank you.
I am the chair of the Heartland Community Foundation, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
Kendall Krug, I'm a board member.
And so what I'd like to share this evening, first I wanted to share the mission of the Heartland Community Foundation. For those of you that may not know it, it is to meet the charitable needs of our community through responsible investments. And we work with the Greater Salina Community Foundation, and they help us ensure that these investments that we have are quality and that they are sound. We also provide many grants that support our communities, and we have donor services to support any particular interest or causes that donors might be interested in. And we also have we serve Ellis, Rooks, and Trigo counties. So what is happening now is that we have been able to get some financial support from the Dane G. Hansen Foundation. And what they have provided us is an opportunity to provide funds to all three of these counties, and especially to Ellis County and the city of Hayes. And in order to do this, the Dane G. Hansen Foundation has asked us to set up what is called a strategic doing community meetings. And the purpose of these meetings is to bring community members together to identify priority projects for our community, and then to create goals and to develop action plans, and then to ultimately see that these action plans are accomplished. By coordinating these meetings and then ensuring that we have successful participation, the Dane G. Hansen Foundation will provide for the Heartland Community Foundation $1.2 million for our three counties over the next 4 years. So that is a lot of funds that can come to Ellis County. So these meetings are open for anybody to attend, and so that's kind of why I'm here, because you are our community leaders. So I encourage every one of you to attend, and I do have some invitation cards to share with you. But not only do I encourage you to attend, I know that if not on a daily basis, I'm sure on a weekly basis, that you are all contacted about needs that we have in our community. So it would be wonderful if you all could bring 5 members with you to this meeting. I'd like to share with you when that's going to be. It's going to be on Monday night, September the 25th, from 6 to 9 p.m. It's going to be held at the Robbins Center at Fort Hays State University, and dinner will be provided. So I wanted to share these with you. I don't know should I bring them up?
I've got some up here that I'd be
Okay,
happy to
you
share
have
with the
some.
commissioners.
If you have any questions and to RSVP, you can contact your own, Sandy Jacobs. Her number is on that card. So we hope you'll share with the community, encourage people to come. We want to have great participation, and ultimately what this is going to do is provide us a way to find what are the needs in our community and how can we financially support them and see that they really do happen. So that's what I have to share. Okay.
Thank you, Susan,
betcha.
very much for coming. I'm really impressed with the Hansen Foundation and their thinking, because I think a lot of us sit and just wait for the money, but they're saying now they really want us to think strategically into the future about what our communities need in each one of these counties. So I appreciate that Susan and Kendall were able to come, and I'll share these cards with you. I'm going to encourage you and bug you until September 25th, so you all participate with us. Thanks.
No consent agenda. Next item on the agenda would be a progress report on the wastewater treatment facility reconstruct.
Good evening. My name is Brandon Coleman. I'm with HDR. I'm the Assistant Project Manager for HDR for the Improvements Project of the Water Reclamation Facility. So I appreciate the time tonight to give a quick status update. At the last status update, Stan Christopher was here and made a similar presentation as to what I'll do tonight. So I'll quickly go through a couple of slides here. On the first slide, since the notice to proceed was issued in May 31st of this year, 2017, there has not been any change orders for contract time or contract price. So the dates that you see there are the original substantial and final completion dates, and also the original contract amount. And as of today, for contract time, we're on the 86th day of contract time. So we're about 3 months into the project so far, and it's just kind of getting underway. As far as activities that have taken place since the last status update, the design build team, which consists of Burns & McDonald and CAS Construction, have submitted the basis of design report. That is the document that's outlaying the design that they're proceeding forward with and the construction of the improvements. HDR and city staff have reviewed that, we've returned it, and the design build team is making revisions to finalize that as we speak. We held 2 construction progress meetings as well as construction coordination calls since that time. And as far as construction activities that have commenced, I'll show you some pictures here in a quick second, but to run through these, The water reuse station has been relocated. A new filling facility is now on the east side of the site. Demolitions began on the trickling filter, and also the new entrance road from the south has been established to the site for construction access and for plant personnel. And then there is a webcam that's also been installed.
I've just looked at the camera.
You can see here, this camera, and I'll show you a location of it here in a second, is on the northwest portion of the site. So that link will get you to a YouTube location where you can see live construction activities going on at any time. You can see the site now is shut down, but what you see there is a picture of the inflow lift station that's currently being, or it has started excavation. Run through some of our slides. So the first picture on the top right is just an overview of the plant and its existing condition before construction started. The bottom right is a location of where that webcam has been installed, which is over in this region right here. So it's providing a view that's looking to the southeast there of the plant. Picture on the top right is the groundbreaking that took place on the project when it was commenced. The bottom right picture is the water reuse, that filling station that I spoke of earlier, that the city staff and some of your commercial users use for accepting plant reuse water for various needs. The top right picture is the demolition that started on the trickling filter. So that's a picture of the west filter. So the rock's been removed. You can see that the contractor's starting to remove the wall, and we'll start demoing out the base slab here shortly. And the picture on the bottom right is that new south entrance road that they're using for construction purposes. As far as a schedule update, we are going through weekly reviews with the contractor and the design builder on their schedule on the project. They initially got, as compared to their baseline schedule, a late start with their demo contractor, just trying to get some of their contracts set up. But they've switched to go to 5 10-hour work days and have since made up some of those delays, and they actually think they'll finish their phase 1 demo ahead of their initial schedule. The influent pump station excavation is currently running a couple of weeks behind, but again, you can see they've actually started that excavation now. That work is not on the critical path, so it won't impact the construction schedule overall, but the contractor is aware of that and trying to watch their schedule. As far as administrative items that have taken place in the project, the packages for specifications and drawings are issued out in different packages. Drawing package 0, which was some of the preliminary items that have already been reviewed and returned. And we just received drawing package 1, which covers some of the initial items for process instrumentation diagrams and preliminary process drawings, and those are under review right now. And HDR and the city have been working together on a process of trying to expedite that review so we can meet the design and construction contractor schedule as they move through these different deliverables. And then also a couple of specifications have been reviewed as the design build team goes out for procurement of equipment. So that's the main overview I wanted to go over tonight. Our next update will be on September 28th, and just wanted to open up for questions.
And I appreciate the update.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks
Thank
very
you.
much.
Next item on the agenda is 2017 Uniform Public Defense Code and Standard Traffic Ordinance, which these will need 2 different motions.
Good evening, Commissioners. Brian Dawson, Assistant Chief of Police. And here for a little annual housekeeping, looking at requests for approving by ordinance the 2017 versions of the Unified Public Offense Code and the Standard Traffic Ordinances. Every year, the Kansas League of Municipalities prints out updated versions. This provides the City of Hays with the most current and comprehensive laws, and they parallel the traffic and criminal codes of the state of Kansas. What we refer to as the UPOC, the Unified Public Offense Code updates. One of the couple of the significant changes, there weren't very many actually this year at all, was to the domestic battery law, where they included, has been amended to include battery involving persons who are in or have been in a dating relationship. The definition of a dating relationship basically is defined as a social relationship of a romantic nature. Unlawful use of communication facility, this is a new law, it's a Class A misdemeanor, basically using a communication device in committing, causing, or facilitating the commission of a crime by sexual relations. So that's a new one altogether. Drawing a weapon upon another. was a law that wasn't used very often, and it was actually removed in the 2017 version of the UPOC. Anyone basically that draws a weapon upon another person not legally in defense of themselves or others can be charged with aggravated assault. So that law has been removed in this version. Illegal operation of amusement ride. This law is new as well. It's unlawful for an owner or an operator to knowingly operate or cause to be operated any amusement ride without a valid permit issued by the state of Kansas. So there's another new law for the books. Moving on to the standard traffic ordinance updates for 2017. Basically on the bicycles here, lamps and other equipment. The changes to this section requires that a bike in use between sunset and sunrise, that's new language, that sunset and sunrise, be equipped on the rear with a reflector or light to help bicyclists be more visible to oncoming traffic. Any references to the approval of the equipment by the Secretary of Transportation were also removed. So they removed some language and changed it a little bit, and then they added on the light as a possibility in addition to the reflector. Seatbelts, the change to this one, the big one for seatbelts was that they changed the fine from $10 to $30. There's still no court costs assessed when issuing a traffic citation for not wearing your seatbelt. The additional $20 goes to the state to support the SAFE program, which is an educational program for young drivers. Our recommendation from our staff is that the Commission approve the ordinances adopting the 2017 revised Uniform Public Offense Code number 3941 and the standard traffic ordinances for Kansas City's number 3942.
I would move that we approve ordinance number 3941, adopting the 2017 version of the Uniform Public Offense Code for Kansas Cities for use within the city of Hayes.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Myers, second by Commissioner Jones. Comment?
I'll be voting no. I find 3 of the 4 changes abhorrent, and they do not keep in the tradition of Kansas. This is government overreach, government misunderstanding. Obviously, there's not much we can do other than choose our elected officials in Topeka. But these are very poorly written changes, and I do not support this at all. I know my vote doesn't matter in this matter, but I don't like this at all.
Call for the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Passes 4-1. Need a motion for the next
I'd
one.
move that we approve ordinance number 3942, adopting the 2017 version.
What?
Did we go over that yet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
we did.
2017 version of the standard traffic ordinance for Kansas Cities for use within the city of Hayes.
Second.
motion by Commissioner Myers, second by Commissioner Jones. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Yes.
I vote yes. Thanks, sir. Next item on the agenda, Hayes Regional Airport reflective beads award bid.
Mayor, Commissioners, Ovid Seifers, Public Works Division, and the Airport Division of Public Works. Reflective glass beads. They are required by the FAA. There is a picture of some unacceptable conditions with glass beads, and the background is not very reflective. There's one whatever is reflective, and that's the whole purpose of glass beads, is to enhance the pavement markings during nighttime hours and low visual conditions due to fog, rain, blowing snow, etc. Bids, low bid was $27,400 from Swarco. Funding would come from the airport operating budget. Lower left, no beads, center beads, lower right with beads. Strictly to enhance visibility in the night. Staff recommends awarding low bid to Swarco for $27,400.
I'll make a motion to approve the bid from Swarco Reflex in the amount of $27,400 for reflective glass beads at the Hayes Regional Airport.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jones, second by Commissioner Jacobs. If I remember last week, you said this is a different bead than we've used in the past, is that correct?
It's a type 3 bead used in the past.
It has been used in the past, okay, sorry. Misunderstood.
The applicator is different than we used in the past. You guys bought or authorized the purchase of an applicator earlier in the year to hopefully make the beads stick a little bit better, so we don't have to put them down.
But,
quite as often.
but depending on the weather, I mean, it may last a year, it may last a couple of years, correct?
It's correct.
On the markings, on how soon we have to put them down.
So, I mean, I don't remember us doing this before. Is this something that we're gonna have to vote on each year going forward, even if it's in the budget?
Yes, because it's over a certain dollar amount.
Yeah.
Right,
Toby?
Toby?
If we take bids,
If we take bids?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, if it's over a certain dollar amount, then we have to take sealed bids, and then, yeah, it'll come to you.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. Next item, storm sewer line and award a bid.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is John Brown. I'm the Interim Director of Public Works, and I'm here to present to you bids for storm sewer lining and manhole rehab. The project entails lining of corrugated metal pipes that are in our system. And if you recall, over the last several years, we've been doing storm sewer lining. In fact, in 2014, we had a $1.1 million project, which lined most of all the remaining corrugated metal pipes. This is sort of a cleanup project after that one to actually do all the rest. There shouldn't be any out there that need lining in the foreseeable future of corrugated metal pipes. We're doing about 1,100 linear feet of corrugated metal pipe, and pipes ranging in diameter from 2 to 3 feet. And we're actually recommending award the bid to the same contractor who did the $1.1 million project back in 14-15. So the bids are very competitive. I've got a few pictures here of pipes that were actually representative of pipes that were lining corrugated metal pipes. You see the bottoms kind of rust out. The edges around here, those are just wrought with pinholes and stuff like that. Eventually the pipe would collapse if we did nothing. So just another close up. This is the actual machine that does the spin cast concrete lining of the pipe. So it's actually a concrete material. That's not your normal concrete that you use for a driveway, but it's a high strength fiber reinforced concrete that's spun at a high RPM and lines the inside of the old pipe approximately an inch thick. And here's the actual machine in operation. You can kind of see how it's pulled along on a skid at a meter grade and applies a uniform application of material as it goes along. As I mentioned earlier, in addition to lining pipes, we're also doing some manhole rehab. Here's some pictures of representative manholes, the old brick storm sewer inlet basins, and those will be repaired and then lined with that same type of material. This map shows the locations of all the pipes we've done over the last several years, and I'll highlight the ones that are included in this year's project. Along 13th Street from Pine to Milner is the bulk of this particular project. It's over 900 feet of 36-inch corrugated metal pipe. That was you'll recognize this section of 13th Street as being reconstructed back a few years ago, 2 years ago. We did not, during that project, we actually added new storm sewer pipe to the north side, of the, there we go. To the north side of the street, we added new storm sewer pipe, the red line. The old pipe still remains on the south side. Now that the project's done, all the disturbing is done, we'll go in and line that pipe and make it last as long as the street on top of it. The other portion is out on West 12th Street, just west of Hall Street. We have some at the intersection of Centennial and Chitola Creek, where we're actually doing a lining there, and then we're doing all the inlet boxes around that. And then there's a inlet on Farley, which is off of 22nd Street, some little known cul-de-sac. There's a box at the end of Tam O'Shanter, and then we've got a small section of pipe out here at 15th and Main that will be done. The bids were received from three bidders, with Mayer Specialty Supply out of Goddard, Kansas, being the low bidder at $130,800, which is well below the engineer's estimate. Since this was a relatively small project, we thought that the unit prices would be higher than what we had bid previously for the larger $1.1 million project that was 3 years ago. To our pleasant surprise, the bids were actually lower, so we were happy with that, and subsequently came in lower than the engineer's estimate and lower than the budgeted amount. Schedule for this construction would be to begin in September, mid-September, and be completed at the end of the year. This sheet just is the running CIP on the Stormwater Reserve Fund, which funds are coming out of, and you can see that we have adequate funds in this to fund this project and the projects that we have programmed for the future. Commission has the options of awarding the bid as recommended, providing alternate direction, or rejecting all the bids. City staff does recommend accepting the low bid from Mayer Specialty Services, and the action requested is shown on the screen. Any questions I might be able to answer?
John, on those manholes, once we line those, what's the expected life of that to where we'll have to do it again?
I think we're looking at least a 30-year life on those manholes once they're lined. So it's a good repair method.
Good.
Chairman, I move to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Meyer Specialty Services LLC, the amount of $130,800 to be funded out of the Stormwater Reserve Fund.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Swaller, second by Commissioner Jones.
And we're doing this on a section that we just rebuilt. What would have been the cost to rebuild that stormwater pipe when we were rebuilding the street?
At the time, it would have probably been about 50% higher in price. Not double, but about 50% higher at that time.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
That's 5-0. Thank you, John. Progress report.
Thanks, John.
We have progress?
When Jacob's around, there's always progress.
Always progress.
Progress.
Mayor and Commissioners, I'm Assistant City Manager Jacob Wood with this month's progress report. I'm going to start with the Convention and Visitors Bureau this month. The CVB actually hired an intern from Louisiana State University to take pictures of the community. She's a photography major, and her name is Kaylee McCarley, and she basically just went around and updated some of our photography that we're going to use for our promotions, different advertisements, that sort of thing. So you should see some of her pictures start to be used. These pictures, they are ours. The city owns the photography, and any entity where we took pictures will be able to use those at no cost. So this first picture here is out of the Sternberg. She took that picture. Sternberg can use that at no cost. CVB has been pretty busy this month with the start of school at Fort Hays State University. They've been involved with all kinds of events there, all the orientations for staff. This here is a picture of grad student orientation. They also were involved in several tours for new students around the community. They were very involved with kind of trying to get those students involved with the community. Move on to the Parks Department. UP Plaza, you may notice that the restroom is up and running. It's finally installed. And I have a before and after picture of the restroom. I've heard nothing but good things about the restroom downtown and the work that the Parks Department did with the new concrete and everything that they've done there.
Jacob, what's going to happen to the pavers that people purchased?
We have those at this point. We don't necessarily have a plan for those at this point. We're trying to figure out how we're going to incorporate those with the park and the pavilion. And
Why were they removed? Why were they removed?
They were removed. Well, those bricks have actually been replaced several times by the city. and they were cracked, and in this instance, they just didn't fit back in with the layout that we put. It would have been much more difficult to have those sections put back in. So it's a lot easier for us as a city to go in and kind of pull all the bricks out and replace it with the concrete the way that we did.
It was my understanding from Jeff, too, that there was a lot of broken bricks,
Yeah,
which
absolutely.
didn't
There
allow
were.
us to put them back in.
We still have the remaining bricks. We just don't necessarily have a plan for how we're going to take care of those in the future. But the city has replaced bricks in the past, taken care of those for a long time. So we have them. We just don't necessarily know exactly how we're going to use them. We'll move on to the fire department. The fire department did their quarterly hazardous material training this month, and that included foam firefighting training. Foam is used anytime there's combustible liquids, and all of our fire trucks have the capability to produce foam. You can't see it, but off to the side here, there's a slip and slide. So it's just part of fire department's fun there.
You just make sure we're listening.
The fire department also went out to Fort Hays State. There's several brand new buildings out there. They toured all the new buildings to get familiar with where the different fire apparatuses are, entries and exits, where all the gas and electric shutoffs are. So they spent some time just getting to know the new buildings. Information technology, they have implemented actually came up with a new service catalog. This is basically what this is an internal document that shows all of the different services that IT provides internally to the city. Every city employee that comes through goes through an orientation that we go through these different services. But a lot of times, if you haven't used the service in a while, you might not remember that it's there. This is on the city's website. Internally, employees can get in there and see exactly what the IT department does. It's just a way for them to expand their services to the city. On to the Department of Water Resources. The Department of Water Resources hosted the Kansas Municipal Utility for some safety and confined space training classes. We had several different departments throughout the city that participated in this training, and actually some other cities also came and looked at the confined space and trench safety. At the police department this month, they participated in the Backpack for Kids program. I'm at the Kansas Army National Guard Armory on August 3rd. I had a couple of officers there, and we fingerprinted children as part of the IdentiKid program. And then the police department also hosted a community night out. This is the second annual community night out at the Hayes Aquatic Center. The officers provided free hot dogs, hamburgers, and food for the public. It was a free swim day. This event is sponsored by the Fraternal Order of Police, Pepsi, Phase 2, Walmart, Nex-Tech, and then the Hayes Aquatic Park. In the Public Works Department, we had several employees that participated in the APWA Snow Rodeo in Junction City. Basically, this is an event where the operators get out and they have different courses where they test their skills and their ability to use the equipment. We had employees that helped run the event, and then we also had an employee who took first place. Equipment operator Dusty Dagenhart took first place in the motor grader division. And then we've also been repairing Montgomery Ditch over the last couple of months. The service division has been placing sandbags filled with concrete along the side of Montgomery Ditch to reduce erosion in that area. That project is ongoing. You can see that they're basically stair-stepping this concrete up, and it's turning out very nice. And next week, it is the fifth Thursday, and March to Maine will happen. So there won't be a commission meeting, but the commissioners, for the most part, will be participating in March to Maine. And I did want to say one more thing. You may have realized that there's a lot more words on the screen than I normally have. Normally we have a lot of pictures. I get about 30 different slides from the department heads every month, and 30 to 40 slides. So what I'm doing is I've kind of revamped the format just a little bit, and we're going to use some of this content to go on our cable channels. So it'll play throughout the month. So this isn't what you guys are going to see every month. I'll go back to just the pictures. So, but I wanted you to see what we'll be putting on TV in the future.
Would you also
That's a
then
great
insert
idea.
flattering slides as well? I understand that's very popular right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great, thank you.
It's a great idea.
And that's all that I
Our
have.
daily briefings. Thank you, Jacob.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Report of city manager?
Have nothing to report?
You have nothing to report. Please read progress. Go ahead.
Two things. One, I had the opportunity this afternoon to meet an absolutely delightful couple that were having lunch at Paisley Pier, sitting outside with their dog, and we had a great conversation. They were sitting there texting to family and friends across Missouri and Kansas and Colorado about the amazing community they had just found. And they were absolutely delightful. They loved everything that they saw in the community. They talked about how clean the community was. They loved downtown. They were headed down to see the white buffalo, so they were very excited about that. And they actually knew the difference between a white buffalo and if it was, I lost the word, albino. And I said, no, this was actually a white buffalo. It wasn't considered albino. So it's so nice to be out and have somebody that's been traveling across the country. And I said, have you texted at every stop? And they said, no. This is the only stop we texted. And from Shawnee Mission, Leavenworth, Boulder. And so if we see those people here, we have them to thank for it. Second of all, the commissioners, and I don't know the distribution of this, Toby, we've been given a copy of the housing study that we contracted with the Docking Institute, and I've just started going through it. But I thought I'd like to see it on the agenda in the next near future, I don't care, just for some discussion and really to hear all the commissioners' thoughts and ideas. And also, is this published on our website? Is it somewhere we can refer people to that are interested in it?
We don't have it. We could put it on there. I don't know if we did or not, but we
I
can
think that'd
put
be
it
a
on
good
there
idea.
easily. We distribute it to Chamber, Coalition,
Right.
other interested parties.
Be nice to have it on the website, and then if you put it on the agenda, I'd appreciate it.
I think the correct term is bison, not buffalo.
Oh, here we
According
go
to
again.
that.
I was going to watch that, and I didn't do
I don't have anything
good.
else.
Becky, don't you write that down.
Nothing, thank you.
Welcome to the Fort Hays nursing students. Glad to see you're back in town. Be nice to your pharmacists. They will make your life much better if you're nicer to them.
Commissioner Jacobs, I actually wanted to add something you were talking about. I met a couple days ago. There were two ladies driving through. One was from LA, one was from Denver. I'm not sure where they were coming from. They were headed home. And they said everything they Google or search on the internet, Hayes kept popping up. And I think,
Yes.
Melissa, I think you're doing a great job. Whatever you're doing, I don't know where they were searching, but she said that Hayes kept popping up and they had to stop and come downtown and kind of said a lot of the same things you just said. So
Yeah, good stuff.
that's pretty neat to hear. And now where I'm downtown a lot, it's interesting. I know you guys all know this, but how many people from out of state and out of counties
Oh, yeah.
are here all the time. Which I know we all know that, but it's to see it with your own eyes on a regular basis is pretty neat. So that's all I have for adjournment.